Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Irene Villalobos with Active Realty here in South Orange County. And I'm a real estate broker and been in the business for about 21 years. And here today, we're here with Lucinda Lambros, and she is a certified divorce financial analyst. Sorry about that.
It's a long title.
Yes. And we're here today because she has a lot of information and she's going to share just a little bit of that with us today. But Lucinda, can you first introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Thank you, Irene. Thanks for taking some time out with me this morning. I am originally from Indiana. I grew up in Indiana, lived in the Midwest, went to college there, and then moved out to Southern California over 30 years ago. So I've been here in South Orange County for the past 30 plus years, I think, and have a family with my kids, two in college, one in high school, married, have been divorced, and you know understand the feelings and the emotions that go through divorces. I began in the financial industry about 8 years ago and started as an advisor assistant, and quickly went to get my license as I was going through some personal things, and realized how beneficial the information was, and how much information I knew just from the get-go, and could assist other, especially women, either going through a change in their life through a divorce or widowhood, or just knowing finances in general. So I'm a registered representative with William Ryan Company, and our broker dealer is Independent Financial Group out of San Diego. I work mostly with women. Women's needs are unique in some aspects due to a variety of different things, but we'll get into a little bit of that here in just a few minutes. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And I appreciate your knowledge, and I'm very interested to hear more and to share your knowledge with as many people as possible. So I have a question. Recently, I've heard a lot about the term a gray divorce. What does that mean, and why is it in the news all of a sudden?
So the divorce rates have been relatively stable since the 1990s. Not that anyone wants a 42% divorce rate in marriages, but it kind of stabilized after the 1990s. Unfortunately, for people ages over 50, it has doubled since 1990. And then for people in the age range of 65 and above, it's tripled, and especially those on second marriages. So as you can imagine, from a financial standpoint, this creates some retirement planning and some other issues that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with when you're younger, in your 20s and 30s. But so the term gray divorce really comes from this, for lack of a better word, phenomenon of people divorcing later in life. The statistics are a little unsettling for a lot of people to hear that, but it, you know, they, they're telling a story there.
Right, right. Okay, well, that makes sense. And why are these gray divorces more complicated for women, I guess, say in their 30s to 40s?
Yeah. So, when you're younger, and I divorced young. So when I was younger in my 20s, we didn't have, real estate. We didn't have children. We didn't have a lot of money. So there wasn't a lot of assets to go through. As you get older, things can get a little more complicated. When you're in your 50s and 60s, you still may have children in college. So you still
Right.
may be in college planning. You probably have real estate, maybe more than one real estate. Perhaps one of the two of you owns your own business or has equity or stock in a business. So the financial picture becomes a lot more complicated, and there's a lot of tax issues that can come from some of these things that you wouldn't necessarily, you don't think about. You think, okay, we're just going to split it 50-50. Well, you need to look at the long-term picture, and maybe that 50-50 that you think up front is equal, isn't necessarily that way in the long run.
Yeah, I would think that 50-50 would be the way, but, you know, it makes a lot of sense because they're not looking at the big picture. So yeah, I could get
Yeah,
that. So how would hiring someone like yourself with a CDFA, got that right,
you did. I know.
assist, what, the benefits of hiring someone like you. So
So our main role as a CDFA is to work with your lawyer or the mediator and come up with a financial proposal, and give you options so that you don't walk away now with what you think is a 50-50 split, and next year you get a big tax bill from Uncle Sam. So you want to make sure that you're taking taxes into mind, and you also want to look down the path and think, where am I going to be in 10 years? Am I going to be retired? Will this money get me through my retirement? And, I touched a little bit earlier on the unique needs for women. Well, women need to be especially careful about this because a lot of times we're tied emotionally to the house and we want to keep that house. And doing what you do all too well, sometimes that's not always the best decision. Women live longer than men. We live to approximately age 82, where the average age of men is 76. Because we're living longer, we need more money. And because we're living longer, we have healthcare issues that are sometimes can be very costly as well. So there are a lot of things that come into this financial equation that, someone with my background definitely can help you plan for, or at least understand what your options can be moving forward. I know that I feel like I just learned out a lot of information. So
it's great. I mean, it's a lot of information, but also it's a great start for, someone to start thinking about. And it's it's great for people to, ask those questions of themselves and then want to reach out to someone who knows and who can help them guide them through the divorce process on the financial end. So
yeah, and I know most people with my certification, you don't have to go all in. You think, oh, now I have to hire a CDFA, a CPA, a lawyer, a private investigator, but it's not necessarily that way. Sometimes people come and they just want like a preliminary report, so to speak, of what am I looking at if
Mhm.
if we do head down this path of divorce. Can you give me an idea of what my considerations would be? So it can be as simple as that, or it can be, involved and hold your hand through the process, and afterwards then help you with whatever investments you may need. So there's a, variety of levels of commitment too. So
For people that are contemplating divorce or, they've already talked about it, they're going to, file for divorce. When is the best time for them to reach out to you? Is it before they filed? Is it right after they filed or?
it is actually, that's a great question. It is as soon as possible. I would say that maybe between a therapist and between myself, we would be the first people to contact, because ideally you do want to know financially how this is going to move you forward. So even in the early stages of separation, there's a lot of talk about finances and what will happen, where are we going to be in 6 months or 12 months. So ideally upfront, but a lot of times referrals come through a mediator or through a lawyer. But the sooner the better, obviously. And like I said, there's no harm to sit down and have that, just an initial conversation.
That's fantastic. All right, Lucinda. Well, thank you for taking this time to answer some very valuable questions. It's like good information. How would anybody reach out to you interested to talk to you a little bit further?
Thank you. You can reach me by my email, which is Lucinda, Lucinda at William Ryan Company. It's a long email, williamryancompany.com. The easiest way may be to just call me 949-365-5857. Thank you, Irene. I so appreciate you taking the time with me today.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time because people need this. People need to
Yes.
know that there's someone out there like you who can help them financially.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you. You have a great day. And thanks everybody for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Tune in for the next segment. Have a great day. Bye. Okay.